Good morning, beautiful people. It's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your What's Cracking reading for Monday the 5th of November. Sorry, just straightening the camera out. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I've got up to go to work this morning and I don't feel like it, but what can you do? So I'll just give these cards a good shuffle before we start. Now, I was going to say thank you to some of the other people that have written through to me the other day, and my mind went totally blank. And then when I got up this morning, I went over the people who've been writing to me just to see, because there are a lot of Aussies writing to me because there are not a lot of Aussies on YouTube. So, so thank you very much to you Aussie people. Oi, oi, oi. And on to South Africa, Transylvania. Can you believe that? And oh, there was one more, but really very, very different places that I would never have expected to follow me. So thank you so much. You really make my day reading your messages. I know there was another one there, Seven of Wands. Some of you are getting a little bit defensive today, so I don't know what's going on there, but let's do your reading. Now, if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you on board. And if my readings don't resonate, you can move on. I'm sorry, some days they just will not resonate with you. That's why I do a bonus reading too, because I think one or the other. If both of them don't, then it just wasn't your day. Other people have stronger energies coming through. So, yeah, I thought so, because I had the Seven of Wands pop out before. Some of you are getting a little bit defensive today and putting up some boundaries. So I don't believe this is a bad card. I think putting boundaries in place is very good, especially if you've dealt with people who don't like boundaries, because that way you ensure that people respect you for who you are. So I have a funny throat, so no croaky voice this morning, but I had a big cough and it sounds so funny, so bear with me. So what happens with this particular card, it talks about being a wounded warrior. So often you've been through the same thing on a few occasions, and now, of course, you're putting boundaries in place. So I don't think that's a bad thing. It's a bit of a shame you've been through this before and you've had to resort to doing it. But you know what? Sometimes we just have to say to people, if you're going to treat me that way, I'm just not going to put up with it. And that's the card. That's the energy of that card there today. And the Seven of Wands popped out before, which talks about being defensive and sticking up for yourself. So not sure what's going on for you all today. Okay, so first off we have the Page of Swords coming through. Now he sometimes can be seen as the internet stalker, or the social media stalker. It's because he's like looking for truth. He's looking to find out things, so he sometimes can stalk. I do see the cat. Is it a cow? There's a cow going over the top of him. That's really odd, isn't it? I think that's what it is. I've got my glasses on and I still can't see. And all I can see is the cow jumped over the moon. So he is a person who might be coming to you with a message. It can be sometimes an apology, but it's mostly a truth. So some small truth is going to be revealed to you today, and it's more likely to come through a text or a message. It's not a huge apology, so don't expect anything wonderful, but generally with the sword it is someone telling the truth. Okay, and then we have the Four of Cups. So you may have walked away from something that didn't serve you. I feel like with this card of boundaries and this sword, Page of Swords here, that somebody's either trying to make contact with you to apologize for something, but you've walked away because something has not satisfied you. You may not have been treated right. It could have been that you were treated disrespectfully, hence the caution to put up boundaries. But definitely, you have in the past not been happy with something the way it's been done, and you've now said, you know what, it won't happen to me again because this is what I'm going to do. There is a Page of Cups here, so it could be an offer around something you love or from someone you love or someone that's interested in you. I got to say, the Pisces card, I know it fascinates me with the fish in the cup. I say it every time, I know. This Page of Cups is, generally is a message, but it's sort of like I'm trying to think, it's a message, but it's something it's not a message that comes in writing or something like that. It's like a emotion, something that someone does that makes you realize that they feel for you. So it could be that, somebody turns up out of the blue and says, do you want to go and have coffee? Or they might just turn up with flowers, but it's sort of like I'm trying to think of the word for it and I can't think of what it's called. It's like an offer, but it's not an offer. It's like, an expression. An expression of love is what I'm looking for here. And then we have the tower. Wow, the tower has been coming up a huge amount. I notice even in the cards and the readings on YouTube, there is a lot of tower stuff at the moment. And it sort of makes sense because there's a lot of movement in the spirit world and in the universe around this movement to higher planes. Some people call it the 5D as opposed to the 3D. So the 3D being the real world, the 5D being sort of the more spiritual world. I know that other people have other names for it. I'm trying to think. In The Secret, they talk about it as well. I've always seen it quite personally in the way it's been shown to me as living in your truth, so not living in your ego. And a lot of people moving to that, living in their truth at the moment. The vortex, that's what they call it. It all means the same thing. It's about not living in your human form. It's about living in spirit form. So accepting that you are a soul rather than a human being or in a human body, which means that you cast aside your ego and live from the true self that you were meant to be. And I feel like a lot of people are breaking down this idea of ego and the human form and understanding that they have a greater purpose. So that's why the tower's here. And I feel like something like this is happening to a lot of you out there at the moment looking at this reading. So I see a lot of you not taking, this Four of Cups sort of energy. It sort of feels to me like a lot of you are, saying to people, that's not the way to treat me, like I'm a human being in theory, and you need to treat me with respect. And for some unknown reason, this is breaking down a lot of the relationships that are happening because people think that you should just put up with crap, and it's really wrong. But anyway, and then we have the King of Coins here. Now, the King of Coins is a representative of the earth sign, so could be a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. But this very much feels like an energy of walking in your own space at the moment, holding space, whatever you'd like to call it. It's sort of like you're feeling like you're at the top of your game, but it's also about feeling down to earth, honest, standing in your truth, those sort of things. And I really like the earth representation for that reason. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sign, and I think a lot of the times the signs don't really work out for me. So this for me is much more about the energies around that. I've been gurgling on again. Three of Cups here. Three of Cups. This person could have done the wrong thing by you. There's definitely a feeling of a third-party situation here. Okay, all right, quick recap. For some of you, somebody's done something wrong in the past. They've either had somebody in a third-party relationship or they've left you for someone else and now they're coming back. That's one story here. The reason that that's coming forth is because of this tower. So some sort of breaking down of the way you see things, understanding someone's come back to apologise for something they've done there. The other thing that's coming through very strongly is there's been situations where you have possibly been given something, maybe you've been in a situation where someone has put someone else above you. And I had a dream last night about something like this, which is quite interesting, where someone's made room or pushed you aside for someone else, and you're standing there thinking, but that person didn't do what you're saying they did or whatever. But it's like they're not pushing you aside because you haven't done the right thing. They're pushing you aside because of their jealousy or their spitefulness. I hope I'm making sense there. And we have the Ten of Wands here. So you've been carrying this around for a while. It's like you have an argument with a friend and you stick up for the friend against someone else. And the next thing you know, they're with the someone else and putting you down. And you're thinking, hang on a moment, I was the one who stood up for you. That type of energy. Definitely something like that going on for people, but it's been a real burden for you. So whatever you've had, it's really upset you. There's a Knight of Coins here. So there is some offer of stability coming in here. Something that you can move to. I feel like this is just you taking this action after a tower moment, after a realization. I feel like for a lot of you here, you've been pushed aside for someone when you didn't deserve that. So it could have been a family member. I've seen that happen in families. That's what I dreamed about. You know, when you have a family member who stood up and given someone a really hard time, and you've stood in and said, that is not right. You can't do that. That's a terrible thing to do. Don't speak to that person that way. They didn't deserve it. And the next thing, you're the one who's been outcast for doing the sticking up. So that's the sort of feeling I'm getting here. So I feel like you're building stability after putting these wands down. It's like you're putting your life back in order now. Okay, we have the 9 of Coins here. So you're really coming into your own independence and realizing through this tower that there are times you're just better off standing back and letting things happen. We all want to stick up for the underdog, but sometimes it's not our place to do it and stand up for someone else, even though we think it's right. Sometimes it's just not the right place to do it. And I feel like something like this has happened to some of you. It's funny how I dreamed about it too. And look, this will bring in a beautiful sense of balance for you here. So, you know, sometimes, I need to sort of talk about this a little bit. We feel that we need to stick up for people because they're hard done by, badly done by, poorly treated. And sometimes other people don't understand our good in that, and they become bitter and jealous and twisted. This isn't your problem. Sometimes you are better off to stand back, but who knows? If you've got it in your soul to stick up for someone or do the right thing, it's really hard to deny yourself sometimes. Good example, my son-in-law last week saw someone treating a dog really badly and he got extremely upset. We're all very empathic and all animal people. And he actually sort of got really angry with this person and said to him, you can't treat an animal like that. And his girlfriend started laying into, the other guy's girlfriend started laying into my son-in-law about, you know, mind your own business. It's not up to you how he treats his animals and all those sort of things. And my poor son-in-law just couldn't get it out of his mind. It really bothered him for some time because he kept thinking about people treating animals really badly. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. We stick up for things we think are right. We don't always get the responses we think we should. So there's a lot of narcissistic people in the world. There are a lot of people who are only out for themselves. They think only of themselves. And there are other people who think community, who think the greater picture, who think spiritually about the world, about everybody in it. And we're the people that often think that things aren't fair or they're cruel or whatever else. Those people are coming from their own perspective. They don't see it that way. They only see what they want. They only go for what they need. For a lot of people watching here on YouTube, you would be from the community sided. Without any doubt. You're spiritual, you're opening up, you're understanding, and we're all one. But a lot of people don't understand that. So I think this is the situation you've got here. I think some of you are doing something, sticking up for someone, putting your, head, what do they say, putting your hand in the ring, putting your head in the ring, whatever it is, and you're just getting pounded for it. But because of that, and this tower, this realization that this is the people you're dealing with, you're able to put down your burdens and go into this beautiful energy of independence and temperance. You really balance yourself out. It's beautiful because you bring a stability into your life through this realization that not everybody in the world is the same as you. Not everybody has the same heart. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Anyway, have a great day, people. Don't take it too hard. It's a good lesson for you. Much love.